What is up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Business Casual. I have been getting a lot of requests for me to do real-life deck profiles for the decks that I'm running. So I'm bringing you guys today my Mermail deck. This deck is still in testing. I'm going to explain a couple of changes I'll make. It didn't do so hot at locals this week. It lost to Madolches, which I just wasn't prepared for, and it lost in Game 3 to Shadow Artifacts because I opened with all Atlanteans and nothing else. So that was pretty terrible. I think that this deck can actually do better, even in its current form, than it did this week. I had some really bad draws and one bad matchup. It's also been fairly successful for me on Dueling Network, so I am giving you guys the build, and I will talk about the changes that I want to make along the way. So we've got the obligatory title, the obligatory Triple Abyss Pike, and the similarly obligatory Abyss Lind. Now, a lot of people I have seen talking about only running 2 Lind, and I think that's silly because I think Lind is one of the best cards in your deck. People say that it's another normal summon that you have to deal with. However, I think that that is a-okay, because if you really need to use your other normal summon, you can just pitch Lind to activate like Abyss Pike or Abyss Teus' effect, and then you still get the 1-for-1 off their effect, and that can still be really huge. Or you can just ram the Lind into something and get a 7. That's why I really like Lind, is because even if I draw it, it's access to 7s. And 7s are your most important Mermail cards now that we no longer have Gundet 3 to make your crazy rank 4 plays. I don't run Abyss Turge because I've never liked it when I've had it. It doesn't do a whole lot for the deck for me. I run Salvage, so I have cards that basically do the exact same thing as Abyss Turge, and I often find myself like not wanting to have to use like my Gund or something in order to justify bringing it back with my Abyss Turge. I don't know. It just seems not so hot to have in my deck. So I'll try running it. There are a couple of cards that I'm planning on taking out, so I might try Abyss Turge over some of those cards. Let's move on to the 7s, which are the most important part. Of course, the obligatory triple Abyss Teus, 1 Abyss Megalo, and 1 Abyss Fail Whale, because I can't find a lead or another Megalo, and I needed another beat stick. This card actually won me a couple of games. I really want to summon this by its effect someday. Its effect seems like it would be an utter blowout if you ever resolved it, but you have to discard 4 Mermails for it, and that really sucks. But really, it's just a beater. It's got 2,500 attack points, and it's a 7, so that's pretty much all I need it to do. So there we go. And then, of course, the obligatory Abyss Gund. Then for my Atlantean lineup, we have 1 Dragoons, triple Marksman, and 1 Infantry. I really like triple Marksman and 1 Infantry. I mean, the Dragoons, I don't have to explain. That card explains itself. However, the Marksman and Infantry lineup, I really like this version. Some people run like 3 and 2, or 2 and 2, or 2 and 1. I really like my Atlanteans. I always want to open with an Atlantean, particularly Marksman, because it's such a good opening play. Because Marksman can take out Shadow Monsters when they're face down, and that's really good because Shadow Monsters sent to grave effects are usually pretty mediocre, so I can deal with those a lot of the time. And if it's like a dragon, I'd rather have it like destroy a possibly non-existent back row than have it be have it be able to send my Abyss Pike back to my hand or something like that. So I really like opening with Marksman, it takes out back row, but I don't really like opening with Infantry. I want Infantry to be there if I really need it. Like I can search it off Dragoons by pitching it Dragoons with Undyne or something like that, or I can just straight up pitch it with Undyne, but I never, like, there are a lot of times when I just don't want this card, so I like having 1 in the deck so that I can search it out, and then if I really need to, I run Salvage so I can recycle it. And then, of course, our Gen X engine, we have the 2 Controller and the 2 Gen X Undyne. The reason I run this the way I do is because math. Undyne is a really important card to the deck because it's access to all of your Atlanteans, and it's also access to title, and it also pitches dead cards, so I want to run multiples of it. But 3 and 2 is really bad, and I'll tell you why. If you're running 2 Gen X controllers, then you have a 1 out of 4 chance of opening with Gen X controller. And while that's bad enough on its own, and I really wish I didn't have to use Gen X controller, I'd rather have only 2 Undynes in my deck if I were to draw 1 Gen X controller than 3 Undynes in my deck. And the reason is because if you open with a Gen X controller, that immediately means that some of your Undynes are dead because you only have 1 Gen X controller. If you're running 3 Undynes, that means you have 2 dead Undynes in your deck 25% of the time. But if you're only running 2, that means that you only have 1 Undyne dead in your deck 25% of the time. And I don't need 3 Undynes because I can search the other 2. So that's my reasoning for the Undyne and Gen X controller lineup, and then my final two monsters are two Maxies because it's good this format, and because it gives me more cards to combo with, and Burning Abyss players will always continue to make an Xyz monster, which means that I will almost always get a plus against Burning Abyss. Two Lances to start off our spell count. I really liked Lance when I first started running this, but I started thinking that I need more offensive cards than just, like, Lance is okay, but I'd rather run something like Trap Stun that can just, like, ensure that my plays will go through for a turn. It also, Lance doesn't help me with Vanity's Emptiness, which is not fun, so I would rather have something else other than Lance, but Lance is really cute, like, against Shadows, because if they, they attack, like, a Lind with a Winda, I can Forbidden Lance the Winda, and it's a nice damage step trick, but there are other things that I'd rather run. Maybe, like a Turge. And then one Salvage, one Soul Charge. One Soul Charge because I don't like multiple Soul Charges. Also, you're only allowed to run one after the first. So I like Salvage because it allows me to recycle my Atlanteans and Gund and Lind. And then one Allure of Darkness. I still can't decide whether or not I like Allure. I don't like opening with it, or I don't like the possibility of drawing with it after I use my controller, and I don't like the idea that if I open with Allure of Darkness, in order for it not to be a dead card, I absolutely have to search out Undyne, and that's not fun. So then our trap lineup, we run triple this card, Abyss Sphere. Double Malevolent Catastrophe. This card has won me so many games. Oh my goodness. Because an opponent will just set a bunch of back row and then attack you. And then you're just like, flip this. I think this is really going to be amazing for this deck against Clifforts. Because they will attack me with their Cliffort monster. And I'll just like Malcat and destroy all their back row, including their skill drain and their Vanity's Emptiness. So I really like Malevolent Catastrophe for the Cliffort matchup, the non-existent Cliffort matchup. I like it against the Tellarknights and Yang Zing. It's pretty much a blowout card against those two decks, and I don't really like MST in the main deck, so I'm not running MST in the main deck. Then we have two Breakthrough Skill. Can't decide whether I want to run more of this or whether I want to run Chalice, but I really like being able to negate monster effects on my turn, so that's why I run Breakthrough Skill. I also find myself losing to artifacts a lot, so there. Two Wing Blast, because it's really important. It gets rid of Emptiness, it gets rid of Winda, it gets rid of Construct, which is a bigger problem than Winda, and it is an out to Dante without sending it to the graveyard. It's also an out to Deltaros. It can put a Deneb back in my opponent's deck once they, search out their Altair so that they can't make that Altair play next turn. There are a lot of fun things you can do with this, including discarding Gen X controller so it's not in your hand anymore. And then one Warding and one Compulsory because they're good this format. I don't run Bottomless or Torrential because they're bad this format. Let's move on to the side deck. We have the obligatory Mirrors. 2 Light, 3 Shadow. We have triple MST. I often find myself siding in these two MSTs instead of Malcat game 2 because I know that my opponent's going to be siding Floodgate cards against me. I'd rather have an instant out to a Floodgate card than have to wait for my opponent to attack, knowing possibly that I have Malcat in my deck, so they're unlikely to attack unless they know that they have backup plans. So that's why I like having triple MST in the side deck. And then I have the 1 Maxi and the 2 Flying Sea to round out my monster count with 2 DD Crows. I really like Flying Sea. It would have helped me against a Dolce matchup if he didn't have Mind Crush and Warning both times that I tried to use it. But it's really good against Burning Abyss and Stellarknights, so that's why I run it. And you can draw into it with Maxi. DD Crow does cute things against Lightsworn. Basically all the rogue matches lose to DD Crow. Lightsworn, Fire Kings, things like that. Even Mermails to some degree. I really like DD Crow. It can take out Deneb, which is really nice. There are just so many fun tricks that you can do with DD Crow against the meta and against rogue decks. So that is my side deck. Let's go through the extra deck quickly. We've got for our 7s, our Mermail Biscayos, our Dracosac, and our number 11 Big Eye. This is one of the prettiest extra decks of all time. 1 Bahamut Shark, 1 101, 1 Castel, 1 Gusto Emerald, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Cowboy because I don't have Exciton Knight. And then my 3s are Engineer, Abyss Trite, Zenmaines, and Leviair. I love Zenmaines and Leviair. These are two of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! I like Zenmaines because it's an instant out to Floodgate cards like D-Fissure, which I really like. If I don't draw an MST, I can just, turtle for a turn to get Lind, or I can just, like Abyss Sphere into a Lind and overlay with a Gen X controller or something into Zenmaines, crash the Zenmaines into something and pop a back row. I actually won a couple of games because I stalled on Zenmaines, so I really love Zenmaines. I might take it out if I got something better, like an Exciton Knight, and then Leviair because it's Leviair, and I can get back things that I banished with Tidal. And then my Synchros are Black Rose, Leo. I don't have a Goyo, so that's why I'm not running Goyo. So there you guys go. That is the deck. Those are some of the changes that I'd like to make, possibly adding more effect negation, taking out Lance, and I really want to test Abyss Dine. Because I feel like it could have some fun applications this format, and is an instant combo piece, which is really nice. So there you guys go. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe for more deck discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See ya. Hey guys, I'm going to sound like a fundraising call for a second here because I first want to thank you guys for your support in the next great YouTuber so far. Your help has gotten me the most likes in all the rounds but one so far, which also means that I have gotten to the semifinals. And that's awesome because it means that I've survived, but it's also tough because it means it's not over yet. And this round is the hardest one of them all because I am going against 3 guys who are some of the best up-and-coming YouTubers of our time. They are really good at what they do, so I really need your support. And all you have to do is click on a link in the description below, and that will take you to a video, and you have to thumbs up that video, and that is it. That is a vote for me to get to the finals. I want to thank you guys for doing that. Let's get this done.